Is the Lowrance HDS PR09 the fish finder that finally makes every outing feel like a pro-level expedition? Or is it a pricey gadget you'll barely tap on a calm weekend? Who should actually sit down and press start on this unit, and who would be wiser skipping it for something simpler? And, most importantly, does the price make sense for the average boater who just wants reliable fish locating without a learning curve? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first heard about the HDS PR09, my mind went straight to the classic dilemma: spend a few hundred on a basic depth sounder and hope the charts are decent, or drop a couple of thousand on a premium system that promises everything. The hesitation is real because a fish finder is the heart of a day on the water. Get it wrong and you're staring at a blank screen while the fish bite elsewhere. That's why I dug into the actual daily workflow of anglers who rely on both sonar and navigation, rather than just scrolling through a spec sheet. Let's start with the kind of boat you'd typically mount this on. The HDS PR09 is a 9-inch SolarMax HD touchscreen, which feels more like a tablet than a rugged marine device. If you own a mid-size to large runabout, a center console, or a small yacht where you have a dedicated helm station and a stable power source, the screen size becomes a genuine advantage. You can glance at depth, structure, and chart data without squinting, and the touch interface means you can zoom in on a shoal while the boat is still rolling. For a 6-foot kayak or a tiny base boat with a limited battery bank, the same screen could become a power hog and a distraction. Now, who gets the most out of the ActiveImaging HD transducer that ships with the unit? Imagine you're cruising a new lake at sunrise, chasing bass that like to hang near submerged trees and brush piles. The ActiveImaging sonar paints a high-resolution, 3D picture of those underwater structures, letting you see the exact shape of a fallen snag or the contour of a rock ledge. In practice, that means you can drop your lure right over a promising target instead of guessing from a flat line. If you're a weekend angler who mostly fishes the same local spots and is happy with a simple depth read, the extra imaging detail may feel like overkill. The charting side of the HDS PR09 is powered by CMAP Discover OnBoard charts. Those maps come preloaded, so you don't need a data plan or a phone tether to see depth contours, boat ramps, and navigation aids. I tested it on a river system with several narrow passages. The onboard charts highlighted the shallow shoals and indicated safe channels, and because the charts are stored locally, there was no lag when I switched from the main lake to a tributary. If you're a coastal cruiser who relies on live updates and satellite overlays, you'll probably prefer a system that pulls real-time data. For inland anglers who value a solid, offline map library, the Discover charts are a real time saver. One practical strength that shows up in everyday use is the FishReveal SideScan mode. While trolling a flat-bottomed lake, I turned the unit to SideScan and instantly saw a swath of the lake bed, revealing schools of baitfish and the edges of vegetation. That visual cue helped me reposition the boat within seconds, turning a vague, "there might be fish here," into a concrete target. SideScan is a feature that many mid-range units skip, and it's especially useful in lakes where the fish hold near the shore or undercover. However, no system is without trade-offs. The first is the learning curve. The HDS PR09 runs a sophisticated menu hierarchy that can feel intimidating the first time you fire it up. You have to dig through a few layers to enable ActiveTarget 2 live sonar, set up the imaging parameters, and calibrate the SideScan angles. If you're used to a one-button depth display, you'll spend at least an hour in the marina learning where the FishReveal toggle lives. That's not a deal-breaker, but it does mean you need to budget time before the first outing. Power consumption is another hidden cost. The 9-inch SolarMax display, combined with continuous active imaging, can draw a noticeable amount of current from a 12V system. On a boat with a modest alternator, you might notice the battery voltage dropping faster than usual, especially if you run the unit at max gain while scanning a deep lake. A simple mitigation is to pair the HDS PR09 with a dedicated marine battery, or a solar trickle charger, which adds to the overall expense. Speaking of expense, the price point sits well above the average entry-level FishFinder. The value proposition really shines when you consider the bundle. You get the 9-inch HD touchscreen, an ActiveImaging HD 3-in-1 transducer, ActiveTarget 2 live sonar, FishReveal SideScan, and Preloaded.